up, everybody? Welcome to the Barkada Podcast. We have a special guest this morning with Julio Reyes.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Let's see. I think this is episode 28.
Wow.
Is it?
You've been going for a
I
while.
hope it's 28. Let's say it's 28. But a beautiful, cold Friday
Oh, my gosh, dude. It's
in January 21st, 2022.
It is the worst here in Wisconsin, let me tell you. It is the worst.
And you're here.
You it doesn't matter what the actual temperature is. You're going to walk out there and you're going to hate your life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You just got to dress in more layers, dude.
I know, but see, here's the thing with me. I can't have those like very bulky jackets. I just, like, do you remember when we were kids, like the only jackets that they bought for you were like the super like skiing jackets that were like so like they were too big for you.
Yeah.
I hated those.
Yeah. Well, jackets have changed so much over the years, right?
I know. I remember the first time I got my pea coat. I wore that thing all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. So explain to me real quick. What does Barkada actually mean?
So it's like a Filipino slang word for like your close group of friends or like people you hang with,
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah. And kind of the whole point of this podcast is to kind of share stories of my friends who I think are doing some pretty cool things here.
That's awesome.
With their lives. And everyone's got a story to share, right?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy to even think about like the town that we live in, Oshkosh. I mean, to be honest, I would have never thought that there were so many people here that did some cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Especially like even in the music community. I was living in Green Bay, which like everybody knows Green Bay because of the Packers, right?
Who?
Yeah, right. Because of the Pack. So everybody loves the Packers and everybody knows about them. So when I tell people I grew up in Green Bay, that's what they thought. And then they're like, oh, so is Green Bay a big city because of the Packers? You go over there, there's nothing. There's half a mall over there. That's all they got in the Schwabenland. And then the Packers. The Packers is everything over there.
Yeah.
And,
you bring up a good thing because we were just up there this last weekend. We stayed at the Tundra Lodge just to get away. It was, not that far away. And
yeah,
the room rates were reasonable. So we brought the kids to the water park and stuff. But there was a time where we were kind of just driving around like, oh, let's go check out downtown. We haven't been down there in a while. And, man, I like... Nothing against GB downtown, but I really like what we have going on here in Oshkosh in terms of downtown.
I agree. Well, for one, you don't see one person walking around in Green Bay.
Yeah,
ever.
You're right.
Ever, even on the weekends, like it's you don't even, it's like people don't like, and that's the thing I didn't like about Green Bay. But also, the Packers are in like kind of like a different, in quotation marks, city than like Green Bay. It's called a Schwabenland. And downtown Green Bay is completely like apart from where the Packers are. So even if you wanted to check out downtown, you have to like travel at least 15 minutes somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that was the issue for me because performing in Green Bay, it was, I don't know, it was just not very like happening. And I guess like as far as even talking about like different kinds of genres of performing up there. When I was there, it was just not very challenging, and not even because like the music was easy or hard. It was more like there was just no like sense of community over there. There was no like I didn't feel like I was like being challenged as far as like, because when you're a professional in anything, you always want to be challenged in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be how good you play or how much you can do, but it also like even in business or even in like friendship community, it's just to me it wasn't until I found out that there was a group here in Oshkosh that was kind of like helping the community grow as a music scene.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, man, I gotta move here.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, not to throw shade at Green Bay.
Oh no, dude, and that's the thing too. I love Green Bay. I grew up in Green Bay. I love the Packers and everything over there. The only thing that I didn't like was just that kind of sense. I mean, you know, a lot of the music community up there was very kind of like to themselves, and there was not a lot of like just open arms into a lot of things. So you have to like get in there, and sometimes people be like, "Wah!" You know, be like, "Well, hold on, I'm just trying to hang out," you know, but it is what it is, you know, different areas. But over here, just the music community in Oshkosh to me is so welcoming.
Yeah.
And it's very supportive, and that's what I liked about it.
I think that it just goes across the board for everything. You know, that's what I've found out just through like the restaurant scene and stuff like that. Everyone's just so willing and, you know, to help out, even if you have a question, and like everyone's will go above and beyond and find ways to help you.
Yeah.
Do or find the answers that you need, you know? So
yeah, dude, and like another thing that I noticed about Oshkosh downtown too, and is that there is art almost everywhere. I mean, even like a lot of the establishments around here, they always feature some sort of artist. If it's visual art or music art, I mean, you guys here in Manila, you guys have music here all the time. You know, and if it's not John Harmon playing the piano, or you have like just trios, bands, and you always have like those concert series after dark, and then upstairs, man, you know, upstairs you got that awesome area over there, the Algoma Club. That is just it's an awesome room to just perform in. You know, just the vibes up there are great, and then I literally cross the street, and then, you know, there's coffee shops that like have an artist I think it's every month or every week, one of the two, and then they're allowed to sell their art at their establishment at no cost to anybody, you know, and I just think it's so cool because I didn't see that anywhere else around like the Fox Valley. And you know, I can't really speak for Appleton because I've never lived in Appleton, and I've hung out there, but not like immerse myself in that community, so I don't know anything about Appleton. But as far as Green Bay goes, when I was there, like in the early 2010s, 2011s, I didn't really see that, and that's what I craved, and that's why I fell in love with Oshkosh. Plus, you know, to be honest, people say that Milwaukee is like the music city of Wisconsin, but kind of not really. I mean, Oshkosh, what do we have? We have Country USA, we have Rock USA, we have Live Fest, we have EAA. That is not a music thing, but there is a lot of music going around during that time.
They've been bringing in some big acts and stuff for when they first open up, you know. So, and
people from all over the world come to see those planes, man.
Oh yeah.
And we also have Waterfest here, which is more of like a local thing, but we bring in big acts.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we have so much. Plus, we have music almost every night of the week here.
Yeah.
Almost every night of the week we have music. Like, you can go somewhere, you know, and everything. And that's what I love about Oshkosh, too. Everything's so close together. In Green Bay, you have to travel 20 minutes to go anywhere else.
Yeah. There's lots of different pockets over there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one's better? Which one's better? Oshkosh.
Showed Julio a little bit of the board, so he might be punching in some of the pads here. From time
I
to
love
time.
this thing, man. This thing is awesome.
Yeah. I'll give you a good deal if you want to buy it.
$3.
Find me a PS5.
Oh, dude, that is the hardest thing to find right now.
Yeah.
Even before this podcast, I was spamming an at the cart, nothing.
First world problems.
I know. Well, I technically used to live in a third world country. Not really a third world country. El Salvador was developing country. Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So you know.
Let's get to your story, man. So yeah, tell us about how it all began.
So all right. Well, man. All right. I'm gonna come out real quick and say a lot of things that I don't really tell a lot of people.
Ooh.
So this is
Barkada Podcast.
This is very exclusive. Yeah.
Hey.
So when I growing up in El Salvador, El Salvador is a country. It's a beautiful country, but it's powered a lot by like gangs. They're even involved in the actual government, and they run a lot of things, and I wouldn't say they're like the mafia, but it's pretty close.
Sure.
And it's the biggest gang in the world, which is MS-13. That's where it comes from. For those of you that did not know that. But when I was there, I didn't live in the areas that all that stuff was kind of like going on, like super like hard,
Yeah.
That being said, I was when I was living in El Salvador, you always have to be conscious of it, and you kind of live in fear, but not really. I mean, like when I first moved to this country, I would see people like leaving their cars open, like their windows would be open.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? I'm like, dude, in El Salvador, that thing would be gone.
Yeah.
Would be gone and you'll never see it. But anyway, so yeah, I grew up in El Salvador. My parents I was fortunate enough that my parents were pretty well off financially. So, and things are so different down there. I mean, I used to have maids, which over here people like think of maids and it's like, oh my God. But down there it's a little bit different. It's kind of a norm if you make, a little bit of money. And so, I kind of lived like not a wealthy life, but like a well-off life when I was down there. Unfortunately, some things happened where my dad's company, he used to sell carpets for all of that like soccer fields. So he would put like carpets in soccer fields and like, and then my family owned a bunch of different car washes, fumigation, so things like that. So I kind of grew up in like that kind of business sense, but unfortunately, a lot of things didn't work out, and then my family went bankrupt, and my dad did not know what to do. He was kind of like, what do I do here? Where do I go from here? So we were part of this church that had like 20,000 people in it, and somebody from that church was living in Green Bay working at like a factory. And that's another thing too, is that like sometimes when you move to a different country, you don't really get the benefit of having like really good jobs right away, just because of the language barrier. And even if you have a degree, it doesn't mean that you can do anything here, because you might not have a license to do it here. Which some of my family ended up having those problems. We have some doctors in my family now that like moved here and cannot do anything because they don't have the license.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly, how it was for my parents when they first came here too, as immigrants. They're both in the medical field. They're both doctors.
Yeah.
But they had to redo like they had to get their new licenses. And they had to redo the residency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that stuff adds up.
And it's frustrating.
It is.
Because you go to school for like how many years to be a doctor?
Yeah.
And now you got to be here and like kind of redo it. It's frustrating, but yeah, so we moved here from there. I was 10 years old. I went to an American school down there, which it was kind of like since, like in school here in the United States, you kind of get 8 hours, like first to 8th hour, and that's kind of like your day. We had 4 hours of Spanish and 4 hours of English classes.
Okay.
And they were all kind of mixed together with social studies, science, math, and all that kind of stuff. But they were all kind of like mixed. And I came here at 11 years old, and I knew like maybe I would say a high school Spanish 2. Like if a high schooler here learned and went through Spanish too. Yeah, the equivalent. Okay. Yep. That's how much I knew. But it was funny because I kind of served as my parents' translator.
Sure.
For a couple years. I mean, I was answering phones. I was and dude, I sucked at English. Like it was terrible. Like there would be sometimes that I might like the person would say something to me and I'd be like, and then I would say to my dad, I'd be like, he said this, and I totally made it up.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to get my ass beat. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I witnessed I witnessed my dad's first I saw my dad the first time he ever got fired in the United States, because he brought me to that meeting and I had to tell my dad that he was fired.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the biggest problem, the reason why he got fired, it was not because of performance, but it was because of the language barrier. It was so hard to communicate with him.
Yeah.
And I think like the person just did not have the patience to kind of keep going with it. So I think that was kind of pretty much it. But I was there and I had to translate, as a 12-year-old.
And not everyone could say something like that.
No. I was answering calls. I was helping doing taxes. I was...
Yeah.
So I had to do that at a very young age because my parents didn't know the language as well. And now my parents are pretty good at English. They still sometimes don't understand some stuff, but
Sure.
We've been living here now for over 20 years. So we know a little bit more, but the point is that we got here and we kind of settled, and it was hard for my dad to kind of get used to him being a CEO of a company to working at a factory, just doing monotonous stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of hard for him, and it was hard for our family too, but to be honest, I am happy that happened. Even though it was crappy during that time, it was such an amazing experience being here, because it's true what they say, that this is truly a land of opportunity. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's insane to think about it, and sometimes we take it for granted, but it's amazing how many you can do. I play music. I play on a saxophone and sing songs, and I make a good living, and I make a great living. I don't worry about anything anymore. Mm-hmm. You can't really do that much like that in my country. I mean, It's really hard, and it was also very hard for my family to adapt to the fact that I wanted to play music for a living, because I'm sure you can relate to this. A lot of the times families expect their kids to go into a specific field. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was business. My dad wanted me to do business. He wanted me to own my own company and do all that stuff. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. I want to play music. So it kind of became a thing. But yeah, it's truly amazing. And to be honest, I learned so many things here. I mean, I was not used to like mowing my own lawn or washing my own dishes or even getting water for myself, Yeah. And when you kind of when you grow up through that, you don't know any better, And I my cousins come and visit us from El Salvador, and it's hilarious because you see how snotty they are and how, and they don't know any better. You can't really blame them because they grew up that way. So that I'm kind of glad that I didn't grow up. I mean, half of my life I did, and it was great, but the other life I learned a lot.
I'm happy you brought that point, because that's how it is for a lot of families in the Philippines too. You'd always have someone there to, you'd have a driver, you'd have someone to help with cooking or doing your laundry and stuff.
Yeah,
raising the kids. It was a very, very common thing, and just I wonder how much of that stuff stems from, I don't know what's the connection.
I think it's education.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the people down there that live in, people don't realize that, people down there live in, huts. And, when I mean a hut, I mean a hut. It's, probably the house is as big as maybe, half of this, area here. It's insane. And they don't even have floors. It's gravel where they stand every day. Or not gravel, but, ground. They stand on ground. And their house is so small, and they live, in a... you might say it's a farm, but it's not a farm, because you're not doing anything with that farm. You're not producing anything. It's not even a hobby farm. You might have animals that showed up at your area, and then now they're your animals, but that's it. So I think because of that reason, education, you kind of have to do whatever. Some people around here, even kids around here, since they don't have an education to do anything else, they kind of just do whatever. A lot of people take classes to babysit, and you might not be able to get paid that much while you babysit, but you're still taking care of the kids kind of raising them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a little different over there because when you have those people that do that, they live at your house. Like you take them in and then you have a room for them at your house and then they kind of just live there with you.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's education. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking the connection between like, so Spanish occupied El Salvador for do you know much about that history?
Yes. I know a little bit of it. They occupied it, but that was old Christopher Columbus. That was in the Central Americas.
Okay.
But it was kind of like, I mean, I don't know too much about it. All I know is that, you know, a lot of like the Indian like Mayans and Incas that were living in the area. I know that the Incas were living, or is it Mayans? I believe it's the Incas that were living in Central America, or at least where I was living at, because the main temples are in Guatemala, which is right next to us.
Okay.
We don't really have any like ruins per se in El Salvador to go see, but Guatemala is literally like 3 hours away from us.
Okay.
So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the Spanish that's how they settled in El Salvador.
So, you know, before Spanish was like introduced as a language there, I'd imagine that there were like some kind of different like dialects and stuff that were spoken there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Spanish is the main one.
What was it like you were saying? Like I'm sorry, which
Like the Incas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go into like the very small areas of El Salvador, you'll see people speaking something else.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the actual name of that language is, but yeah, people definitely will speak that, and it's a very ancient dialect. Is that the same thing for the Philippines?
Oh my gosh, there's
Probably so many
different dialects and stuff.
But Spanish is very there's a lot of similarities between our languages.
Yeah, there are quite a few different or a lot of similarities, I should say, that are introduced into the language. So a mixture of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like regionally too. Like I'm just trying to picture Central America and all the different dialects that could have been spoken there.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there's a lot of different dialects in Central America as far as like Spanish goes, because people from Guatemala speak a lot different than people from El Salvador, and same thing with Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. It's the same. You would say it's the same Spanish, but it's a way different. Like you have to be careful when you go around Central America, even South America, because some things that you call different things
could
mean something way different in a different country. Yes. And you kind of run into it here in Wisconsin. At least I do, because there's so many different nationalities around here. Like in Green Bay, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans, Cubans, and then obviously Mexico is the biggest over there. But and then you have people from El Salvador and Nicaragua, and then like sometimes I would speak Spanish because I'm fluent. I always kept my my Spanish at tip top, because I've always wanted to keep it, and I'll speak to them. they'll look at me weird. I'm like, what did I say? And then they'll explain to me like, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say penis. I meant to say water fountain. You know what I mean? So it's one of those. So it's just like, it's insane. But yeah, growing up, man, it's kind of a culture shock just coming here and seeing how even like Americans act in comparison to how Latinos act. Is such a different thing. And that's one of the things that I feel fortunate about. And I'm sure you also can relate to this, is that like, I've always kept my roots, and I always kept my all of my my Latino roots, but I also now know like the culture here. So I know my culture, and I know the American culture, and I'm kind of like 50-50, I would say. And so I can switch. If I'm talking to a white guy, I can switch. If I'm talking to a Latino, I can switch. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like it's kind of like it's so cool, like just the different cultures and languages and how you can switch and be able to connect with that person in a different level than if you didn't. And I'm sure that you have that too, where like, you talk to me, or you talk to, anybody else around here, American, and you know how to talk to them, but then people from the Philippines come and you know exactly what to say, to kind of like communicate, and so it's really cool to kind of like be able to do that.
This is hilarious. I can't find the article. That's what I was looking at on my phone. But there are some like Filipino dishes that are named or with the Spanish name.
Yeah.
But if you would like actually read it to someone that spoke Spanish or understood Spanish, you'd be like, what? Why are you calling that dish that name?
Yeah, I you know what? I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, I gotta find that.
But even talking in with people that are from different Spanish countries is also that's a good thing about America, and that's what I love about it. I know how to talk to Puerto Ricans now, and it's we still speak Spanish. Not to get it confused, but it's like talking. It's like saying like I'm gonna talk to somebody from the Midwest, and then I'm gonna talk to somebody from the South.
Right.
It's still same language.
Here, let's hear your Southern accent.
Oh my God, I can't do that, man. I do so bad. Even my English accent, like apple, like I can't do it. It's so bad. But then you ask me to do dialects from different Latin countries, and I can do them.
There you go.
It's so weird.
Okay, this is probably very inappropriate, but I just want to. I really want people to kind of understand like some of these things.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Let me see. Yes. Oh my God.
I don't know if we need to repeat.
So I mean, I'm not gonna say the bad word, but it pretty much means male prostitute. Like the first one is male prostitute. Like that's the name.
But the packaging on here, it's a coconut angel cookie, right?
Yeah. So how would you pronounce that?
Like how you did.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's what it means, male prostitute. And then the second word, seco. I mean, it's not spelled like we would spell it, but it means dry in Spanish. So dry male prostitute, everybody.
Oh man.
For sale at the Philippines in a bag.
Yeah. Well, here's a nice one. Buena mano.
Oh, like good hand?
Yep.
What is that supposed to be for you?
I'm trying to look here. What it is.
Is it like rice and beans?
Well, this one doesn't have anything.
Yeah, because that means like good hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that one had a picture of it. So.
And that one did not.
Yeah.
Well, so what does it mean in Tagalog? Buena mano. It does not mean good hand, does it?
Well, okay. According to Shelly Vieja Travel.com.
Yeah.
So buena mano literally means good hand in Spanish. Buena mano is idiomatic expression that refers to lucky hands. But with lucky hands, we don't mean a person winning big at the casino here. Instead, it means something else. For store owners, the first customer to enter the store is the buena mano, whom they believe to invite luck into the business throughout the day.
Oh.
With this, owners tend to welcome buena mano with a bigger smile. The Hispanics also believe in this, and so the idea of buena mano, known in Spanish-speaking countries too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's another thing too with Spanish, like from Spain. Mm-hmm. They do not like being called Latino.
Yeah. We'll get to that in one sec.
Yeah.
As said, it originally came from Chinese who are good in running business. Buena mano should not be mistaken for segunda mano.
Second hand.
Though, which means second hand in Spanish. whether in Spanish or Filipino, they both mean a used item or something that's not brand new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
we kind of have a word like that. We call it like la segunda, which is like the second.
Yep.
But that's like if you want to go to a store, you say, "Hey, where do you want to go? Let's go to la segunda."
Yeah.
Which is like, like kind of like that, which is, used goods that are still good, like a Goodwill.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to. But okay.
I don't want to. Do it.
I'll let you read it then. Let me get it up for you. Is that big enough?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Pan de Oh no. So this means in Spanish, pan de regla means like period bread. Ew.
Yeah.
Do you have an ew button in here?
I don't know about you, but we can just do the crickets.
This is great. So, I mean, the picture is
like it looks like a nice bread.
Yeah,
right?
it looks like a nice. It looks like a stuffed bread.
It's stuffed bread with. It looks red.
Is this sweet bread?
I think they have a description underneath there.
Can you read the description?
Sure. This bread may be delicious, but the name is somehow gross.
Yeah.
But again, like if you're like, oh yeah, if you're in the Philippines, like, oh yeah, pan de regla.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Wow. Do you think that maybe when the Spanish settled there, they're just kind of like they're screwing with you guys?
Maybe.
And that's what they made it.
Yeah.
Just to be jerks. They're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna call this that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. We should.
Oh no, it's all good, man. I enjoyed like learning about new languages like that. I mean, that's how I got into food, man. I love just different foods from different countries.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into cooking too.
Yeah.
Because I like to travel, and fortunately, like even with my music, I travel a little bit, which is great. I haven't been since the pandemic, but we all know why.
Yeah.
But aside from that, even before that, man, I really got into Asian food. I got into sushi. I even got into Filipino. I got into Korean chicken.
Yeah.
Man, that is some of the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life. And then then I got into different food from the Latin countries, like Puerto Rico. I got into a lot of food from there.
Yeah.
My favorite, because I was there, I was there the day before Maria hit. And we were there on vacation, and somehow we ended up being able to get a flight from JetBlue at like midnight on that Tuesday night, and we got out there before the hurricane hit on Wednesday.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was insane. But we were there a couple of days before, and I got to try some mofongo, they call it, which is plantains. But what they do is that they use plantains and they kind of make it into like it would be like mashed potatoes. And it's some of the best I've ever had in my life. Oh my Lord, it's so good. I learned how to make it. Not as good when I made it, but you get better at it as you keep going. But yeah, that stuff is good. Puerto Rican food is amazing. I got into like Spanish food, paella. I love making that stuff. I love.
So like in the Philippines, the national dish is considered to be adobo.
Yeah. Yep.
What would be like the staple dish in El Salvador?
It would be a beefsteak.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like beef steak. We call them beef steak.
Yeah.
So it'd be a beef steak, and then it would be like rice.
Okay.
And then beans.
Okay.
That would be like a very typical food there. Aside from like, we have pupusas, which is like, they're amazing if you've never had them. But it's kind of like it's like a tortilla, but it's a different tortilla from Mexican tortillas or for tacos.
Yeah.
They're made out of corn and they're thicker, and then the reason they're thicker is because inside of them they're filled with like beans and rice, or you also put like cheese in them, or even like chicharrón, which means like pork.
Yeah.
And then so they're so good.
Nice.
So that would be like that's the staple of El Salvador. Like nobody else in Central America has pupusas. That's a Salvadorian thing.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, but and then everybody's got different like every Central American country, including Mexico, claim that they have the best tamales. Everybody's and every single tamale is different. So like to each your own,
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of fun to try the different ones because they're all so different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying like who's got the best barbecue.
Sure.
In America, when you go in the South, everybody says they have the best barbecue.
Yeah, you go out east, like Carolina and stuff.
Yeah,
they're gonna say that theirs is the best, right?
Best barbecue.
Yeah.
Like Texas says they have the best barbecue.
Are there any El Salvadorian like restaurants and stuff nearby?
There's a couple actually in Green Bay. There's two in Green Bay.
What?
Yeah, one is called Mi Salvador.
Okay.
And it's like a normal restaurant. You walk in and then they give you a menu and you can get pupusas, you can get all the stuff. It's really cool.
Nice.
And then there's one more, but it's more of like you kind of have to find it. It's like a little like Easter hunt, because it's a food truck.
Oh, okay.
And it's all Salvadorian food. And
you know the families that own the business?
I don't know. No? Not that family. I don't know, but I got to meet them and talk to them because we were playing up in Green Bay, and we were playing at the Riverside Ballroom.
Okay.
We were playing there for a private party, and outside in the parking lot, they were just stationed there, and we were like, "What?
Yeah,
this is a thing!" And oh my God, it was so good. It was amazing. And super cool family, and it's very cool to support them because they just do that themselves. They were telling me they saved like all that money to get like this like little food cart, which is like, it's not very big yet, but man, they're gonna do some stuff up there if they keep making that stuff. At least how I tasted.
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah, it was
nice.
So good.
Maybe we can convince them to get in the Oshkosh scene, huh?
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. But man, you're doing so many cool things here with Filipino food too, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's so cool to see that here. I mean, is there any other Filipino stuff around like even Green Bay or Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. Shout out to Meat on the Street.
Oh, nice.
They got a food truck out there, and they got a place inside a kitchen co-op place and stuff. So
yeah.
But I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah,
I got some friends that live down in the area and stop by the truck whenever they see it and stuff. So, been meaning to connect with them and get them on the podcast too. That'd be kind of neat to hear their story and all that kind of stuff too. So
yeah, no, it's so cool to see like I said, everybody. Not to say that like going to eat Chinese is bad, but like you can find Chinese food almost anywhere.
Sure.
And even like Japanese food, like sushi, there's always a place that sells it. And I mean, you make stuff here too, but your specialty is the Filipino stuff, and that is like, man, that is a taste to have because it's just so different from everything else, Mm-hmm. I forget like your curry. Oh my Lord, mm-hmm. With that coconut. Oh my. Like, is it coconut? This coconut milk, right? Yeah. That they make it. Oh my Lord! It's like, now see, as a Latino, I'm already thinking I want to have bread to dip it in because like we do that all the time. Yep. But man, it's so good. But yeah, it's cool to just try different stuff from different countries, man. That's one of the reasons why I come here all the time because you have such a variety of different stuff.
Kind of going back to what you were saying about. Like the do you call it bistec?
Yeah, bistec. Yeah.
So like we call our bistec. Is it spelled the same?
It's like a
B-I-S.
Yes, BISTEK.
Yeah.
Bistec.
Huh.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
The similarities, yeah. See, there you go. Spanish influenced countries.
For sure. I mean, you can't go wrong with meat.
How how is that prepared?
So like the way that I've eaten all my life, it's like it's grilled.
Okay.
It's just grilled. It's a thinner meat. It's not like a thick steak, you know. It's like very, very thin, and it's always made well done.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't make it like. I did not know anything about like medium rare or rare all that stuff until I came to this country.
Yeah.
Because every meat that is made in El Salvador or any meat that is prepared is well done all the time, and even like with like Mexican food, like tacos and burritos. You always have to get it well done.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, because like when you have it medium rare, it's like you have to like bite into it. You know, usually when you eat steak and it's medium rare, you cut it and then you eat the full thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to savor it. But with burritos, it kind of comes in like in a full package of different stuff. You know, it comes with rice, beans, you know, lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream. So you kind of have to eat all of that. So when you grab like a like a medium rare meat into it, like it's gonna dangle. It's not gonna come in. You know, it's not as like easy to bite.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always tell like Americans that like don't know, when you get a steak, rare, medium rare, however you want. But when you get burritos, tacos, always have to be like well done.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, it doesn't taste as good.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? Do you make the beef steak well done, right? Is it well done here?
Yeah, it's it's thinly sliced, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to prepare it like medium rare or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would say it could come out medium well. But most of the time it is cooked, you know, pretty well. You know, it's marinated in soy sauce and lemon juice.
Yeah.
As part of the couple of ingredients that are in there, you know. So yeah, throw that in the pan. Mix it with some onions.
It's making me hungry.
Yeah, right?
It's making me hungry.
Yeah.
So, do these guys that watch the podcast or listen to the podcast know that you are a percussionist?
I think some.
Yeah.
I know Mike Malone's a big listener.
Yeah.
He tunes in. What's up, Mike?
Hey, shout out to Mike Malone.
Got to get you on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had no. I mean, I knew that you played music when I first met you, and you know, and then I didn't know that you went to school for recording.
Yeah,
right?
Recording technology.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I was a double major at one point with performance for violin.
That's right.
And then at some point I was like, let's just do the recording one and call it a day.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, I was actually talking about this yesterday. You know, it's amazing what music can do to different people. Like some people love to perform it and they're meant for it and they enjoy that that feedback, even if it's for the worse.
Sure.
And some people just play for them. Yeah. You know, and performing is not for everybody, but I'm not saying it in a way where like, oh, it's not for everybody if you're not good. It's like it's not for everybody as far as like how you feel about it. It's definitely something that you know you can either do for yourself or you do it for yourself and you like to share with others. You know, and fortunately enough, I grew up in a performing like feel. I love to perform as a child. So yeah, going back to my story here, it's I was a kid that always loved that attention on stage. You know, I would, as a kid, my mom told me that I would get lost and just like playing and performing. I love to make people laugh when I was a kid in any sort of way. And the way that so I'm a saxophone player and I am a singer too, but saxophone was my first love. And how I found the saxophone was in a very interesting way. My dad is a drummer, and that's how we got into music. And when we moved to this country, he wanted to play drums for like churches because like that's like, you know, the easiest way to get into just playing again. So we would be at rehearsals, and he would bring me because he wanted to kind of immerse me into like playing. one day, as a kid, when your parents are doing something, you kind of just go off and do your own thing because you're bored of like adults. And I found this saxophone in a closet. And I thought it was just a case. I grabbed the case and I wondered what was in it. I opened it up and it was a saxophone. And and then I brought it to my dad. I'm like, Dad, what is this? And then he was like, oh, that's a saxophone. And then the band that was rehearsing kind of helped me put it together and then like had me play it. And from there on, they let me borrow it.
Nice.
And that's how I learned how to play the saxophone at 12 years old.
Self-taught?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I definitely like started playing it as a kid. I mean, as soon as I got it, I became obsessed. Mm-hmm. So I just started playing by myself. And then once I got into 5th grade, like the year, then I actually like took some classes how to read.
Sure.
But I learned how to play by myself. I was just playing the records, and that's how I started. I played the records, and I would go to school, and I wasn't always the best reader because I always went by feel. Mm-hmm. And that was a big thing. And then through high school I went through it and I fell in love with it. And I said at 16 I'm like, music is gonna be my thing. That's what I'm gonna go to school for. I'm gonna have a career in music.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah.
Do you know I played saxophone too?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Alto or tenor?
Alto, little soprano. I played all the way up through probably beginning of college, and then I just focused on violin again.
Yeah, right.
So,
well, yeah. Which one did you like better? I mean, obviously violin, but what did you not like about it that made you choose the violin over the saxophone?
Well, I first grew up playing violin.
Yeah.
Like that was my primary growing up and everything. And then truth be told, when you get to middle school or when you start getting into wind ensemble or whatever, you get to.
You gotta make a choice.
Everyone's choice was they wanted to be in percussion, right?
Yeah, right.
And then of course everyone those were filled, and I couldn't muscle my way into it. So the next option for me was saxophone. I think I thought about trumpet for a little while, but then I guess I think I was just more concerned about the playing a brass instrument versus a reed instrument.
Yeah,
and I guess I just enjoyed learning and playing saxophone, so.
I actually wanted to play the trumpet.
Did you?
Yeah. I mean, I found the saxophone and I started playing it, but then once I was given a choice,
yeah,
I wanted to play a trumpet, and my dad told me that I wouldn't get as many gigs.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, well, never mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, till this day, I tried trumpet in college, like for a little bit. I had a flugelhorn because I always loved like how warm it was.
Yeah.
And yeah.
My junior year, I believe it was, maybe sophomore or junior year, Mrs. Vance, she was my band teacher at that point. She saw like the potential I had in going into music in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And at the time, we needed like a bassoonist.
You play the bassoon?
So I played it for a little while. And I'm like, really? I don't want to play this thing, man. Have you tried?
Yes. Those reeds are very small.
Yeah, they're different.
They're not for me. They're not for me. They're not for me. Even like the oboe. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Also, like good luck trying to get a kid that like practices, and you're like, and like as a parent, you be cool with it.
That's why they have practice rooms somewhere else.
Oh, that's true. But when you're a kid, your practice room is home.
Yep.
And to be honest, I think that like in most cases, the kids that end up playing oboe are like kids of like that have parents that are musicians, because I feel like they can take it. Like I would be cool if my kid played the drums, and played all day.
Yeah.
Like that, all that noise to me is normal.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, back to oboe, bassoon. I think those instruments are like super easy, or when you squeak, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot more noticeable.
I know.
right?
Oh, they're not as forgiving as the saxophone are.
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't squeak on the saxophone, because you can, but
Yeah.
those reeds. I mean, you have two little. I think it's bamboo. They make them out of.
Yeah.
You have two little bamboo like sticks.
Yep.
That like are together.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to blow in them and make a noise. It's like, who made this up? Like, who?
Yeah.
Like, it's like a clarinet but harder.
Yeah.
I don't even know what key. That.
They B flat?
Is it B flat?
I want to say B flat.
I don't even know. I think that that's like the viola of band.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Oboe key. What? Is it C?
Oh, it's in C.
The modern oboe is in the key of C.
C.
C?
C.
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 Bassoon key.
That has to be like in E flat, maybe? Or maybe C.
Also in C.
C.
You see?
But if I had to choose, I would choose the bassoon. Like if I was giving both,
yeah,
I would do the bassoon for sure.
Yeah, they had that thing where you sit on it,
Yeah,
because it's so long.
Yeah. Do you get a neck strap for it?
I don't remember if there was a neck strap.
Because like, what if you want to play standing up? You can't, unless you're very strong.
Yeah. Gosh, man. You're making me try to think back high school days. But anywho.
Man, that's so cool that you kind of like dabble in a bunch of different stuff, though.
Yeah. No, it's fun.
That's the thing about playing different instruments that I've noticed throughout even like my professional life now is that like, man, like playing different instruments, it's a different mentality every time. It's like when you play sports and you play in a team, each position has a different mentality that you have to bring to the table. It's not the same. You cannot play the same.
Yeah.
And every instrument or every team, it has a role, but it's really cool to kind of switch, even like in basketball, like if you're playing like a 1 like through 5,
yep.
Like the 3 is completely different than the point guard, the 1, and it's just, it's really cool to kind of like switch your mindset into that sense, because then you kind of like understand your role better.
Yeah.
And man, like nowadays I try to learn anything that I can. Like I started playing guitar. I really got into like, I play piano now. That's, that's one of my main instruments now. And then bass, drums, just like just moving between, like it's so cool to kind of see that difference. But which one are you gonna pick? Which one are you gonna pick? I love that thing. Is that the UPS guy?
Yeah.
Did you order anything? No.
Anywho. Okay.
Anyways.
So, born in El Salvador.
Yes.
You moved here to the States when you were 10?
Yes. Yes, he was like my mid 10, 11. So like I say like in between there. Sometimes I say 10, sometimes I say 11. But after moving here, I just, I kind of just got used to the culture here. It was hard at first, I'll be honest. I mean, I was part of ESL. Yeah. And shout out to all the ESL kids out there and even teachers, man. You guys... Yes, to be like ESL teachers, man. Like God bless you. Like and even like there's a lot of ESL teachers, and like people don't understand how hard it is, because like as an ESL teacher, you can like maybe just speak 1 or 2 languages, Yep. And then you get all of these kids from different countries. Yeah. Like my ESL teacher didn't know how to speak a lick of Spanish. It was probably like maybe some words that she learned from like like a book or something. Yeah. But somehow she found a way and this is where like teachers get creative, and this is where I love like the teaching aspect of things. Those teachers that get creative when they are presented with something. And she just got creative, and like she taught me how to speak English through like pictures, through similarities in like words, and I love like, because like I love going with her because she would take me out of the class. And I didn't like, I was never the best kid in school. So she would take me out of class, and I would just go hang out with her. But it was great. She helped me so much, like learning. As a kid, you're a sponge, so you learn English as you go. But the fact that she sat down and was patient, So yeah, shout out Trisha, you killing it.
Is she still teaching?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's still going strong. I think she might retire like next year. Okay. Yeah. She was part of that. She's part of like the peer.
Gotcha.
I forgot her name, but no, she was amazing. You know who you are.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. No, that was hard, but yeah, just throughout my life, I and then obviously I was always involved in music growing up, and that's all I wanted to do.
After high school, you went to...
I went...
Did you study?
Yep. So I went to school for jazz studies.
Yeah.
UW Green Bay, and I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
But, like...
Only one victory lap?
Yeah, one victory lap, Right, exactly. Super senior, right? But that's the thing about it, too. It's insane because I always struggled in life as a young guy because I was never, and I'm sure you can relate to this. Like you might know people that have this have had this problem, but I wasn't legal at all in the country until like I was 23 or 24. So I lived all my life as an illegal alien, I would say.
Yep.
I didn't choose to come here, obviously, but we had to work some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And and that now everything's great. Like my whole family is legal now, and we went through the whole thing. But it during those times, it was so hard because you always lived in fear. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have that little wonderful blue card that you call a social security number, you are not giving anything, like even help. I mean, for college, I had to pay that for myself. Mm-hmm. I had 4 jobs paying for myself, and even then I couldn't even afford it. Like I made some of like the best and worst decisions as a college student. So for all of those of you that play saxophone or know about this, the holy grail of saxophones is called a Selmer Mark VI. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it.
So this saxophone is like the holy grail of saxophone players. It's like the best saxophone you could ever have. It's like,
Sounds like a Stradivarius for like violin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, some of these horns are worth like $15,000, $20,000. Like you won't find anything for less than $5,000. And it also depends on the year. Like if you get one from like the 50s and 60s, good luck paying. You would have to like give an arm and a leg to get one of these, right?
Yeah.
So I was given one.
No kidding.
And I had it, and it was the best thing. At the time, I was like, man, I got a Mark VI. It's freaking awesome. But during the time, as a dreamer that I am, and it's funny that now because like I also became a dreamer eventually for my legal status. But as a dreamer that I've always been, I wanted to go to college because I wanted to learn how to play music better. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately now I regret it, and I don't regret it because I couldn't afford it. So when I had this Mark VI, and I wanted to go to college, I sold it.
Really?
I sold it to pay my tuition.
Man, that must have been tough.
Oh, I got $8,000 for it, and I sold it to pay my tuition, and it was a very sad day for me. It was a very sad day for me because it was my favorite saxophone. Until this day, I kind of regret doing that, and I don't. But like, it's so different because like when you go to college for music, it's not like going to college for like science or math or like any any of those professions, because with music, you can learn like how to like do theory in college, and like you can learn how to play, but to be honest, you don't become your own musician, you don't become your own artist until you get out, or if you make yourself leave kind of like the learning thing out of it. Because if you just like focus on like the actual just learning in college music, you are not going, you're not doing your full potential, you're not like trying to achieve your full potential, because music is a language of feel, it's a language of it's a language of love too. I mean, music can do so many different things. I mean, it can make you like remember a memory. It can make you cry. It can make you happy. It can make you move your body in like ways that you normally don't do unless you're listening to that music. It can make you, just enjoy yourself, and that is a language of feel. So when a lot of these kids are going to college and they just want to learn from books or like from patterns, kind of like how math is, then you become very you don't become the best musician you could be, because you're so focused on just like the book side of things, like the left brain kind of things, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things that like I had to go through, and it helped me because not being able to afford college, it also made me like want to go and seek out money to pay for it. So the way that I seeked out money was through what I could do best, which is music. I did other stuff too, obviously, because during that time I wasn't making that much money playing music. But I went to jams. I went and performed in different areas. I said yes to every gig that came my way, and I tried to learn how to play different genres, and I try to make myself as universal as possible in genres to play, because in college you only learn one or two genres, or like they teach you one or two genres, which is classical mostly.
Yeah.
Which, like, how are you gonna make money in the real world now with classical? I mean, yeah, you can, but it's very hard, because like with classical music, you either have to join a orchestra somewhere, or like a big band.
Mm-hmm.
Or like play at weddings,
Yeah.
or private parties. But like even then, there's not a lot of parties out there that hire you for that. So you have to learn how to play different genres to even like scratch the surface on what you can do here.
For sure.
So I had to do it, and I'm happy that I had to do that because of out of necessity, because I learned how to adapt to different environments, and I learned more in the street than I did in college. Mm-hmm. Not to say that college was completely a waste of time, because it wasn't. I learned a lot of like theory stuff, like I said, a lot of book stuff that like,
lays a foundation for people that are looking to get into that field, or just to kind of have a structure, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's what it does. But that being said, you kind of have to know when to detach from that, and then kind of go your own way.
Go do you.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like even like when I teach some of my students, I tell them to like, it's like, hey, you know how you learn all of this stuff? Yeah, just throw it out the window for a second, and then like let's focus on this, because like, people don't realize that when you play music, you have to be vulnerable, completely vulnerable to anything. Like you have to be here, like just like hard on your sleeve. Otherwise, you're never gonna be able to do what you want to do in your music, And I don't know where this started, that people get like so self-conscious about themselves performing, because and I'm talking even to like specific to the people that love this, like they love performing, they love doing this, but somehow they get in their head, they're just like, I have this fear of what people are gonna think of me, when like that's why you do this, right? You play music because you love it. But it's the vulnerability that people are so afraid of, and I don't know where that started. I mean, you see that even in jams, when people come to jam sessions, or even like sessions where you like go to a show and then like on the second set you can get up there and play with them. Some people don't even go up there because they're like, oh, well, I gotta practice more. Yeah, once I practice and I feel good enough, then I'll go up there and play. And it never happens because you
Next
never.
week, yeah, same story.
Yeah, you never think that you get good enough ever.
Yeah.
When like at the end of the day, all you have to do is get up there and screw up, because then you'll know exactly what you need to be doing. You know exactly how to get better. I mean, not the other day, my fiance my fiance plays saxophone as well. But she never took it as seriously as like singing, because she's a country singer. But she plays it, and she actually makes money playing saxophone. She plays like in horn section, stuff like that. But I brought her to a Sunday night at Fletch's, where they do like a jazz orgy every week. And during the second set, you can go up there and play. You can just play. It's not like an open jam per se, but like you can go up there if you ask, and like it's kind of like a scene thing, right? And she's always been scared of it. And she never brings her saxophone. And she's like, oh, I got to take more lessons. I got to practice. And I'm like, no, just get up there. So what I did is that, like, I told her to get up there one night, and she was scared. Like, deer headlights, kind of like, what? And I just go up there now, and I made her go up there, and she played. And, yeah, she didn't do the best in that situation because, like, she kind of grew up classically. So, but after she got done, she was like, thank you for making me do that. Yeah. Because now I can only go up from here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just putting yourself in uncomfortable situations and being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's when you find out a lot about yourself and what you can do, right?
Yeah.
Most oftentimes than not, like, you find out, you surprise yourself in the end. Like, oh, that was fun. Some of those experiences end up being like the best ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They end up being the best ones, and to be honest, like, it makes you feel like bad and good about yourself, But that's the thing, that's how you get better at playing music. It's not always like you're not always gonna be like Yo-Yo Ma. You're not always going to be like, even me as a professional musician that I play all the time and I make a living performing, I still make mistakes at every gig. I still maybe sing a wrong note or whatever.
I usually keep tally.
But I play the wrong note and I get over it and I move on, because most of the time, honestly, nobody notices. Only you notice.
Except for me.
Yeah, except for you, because you keep tally. He follows me at all my gigs. Like, let's
Julio,
see.
seriously.
42 wrong notes. Yeah. Thankfully, they don't pay you by a wrong note.
Right.
But yeah, so it's one of those, man. It's vulnerability, and to be honest, you can add that to a lot of different professions too.
Yeah.
Just being able to be vulnerable. Yeah. And being able to be yourself and not put this like facade or this front. You're gonna be so much successful, and you're gonna be happier of what you're doing, because then you're gonna realize that it doesn't matter what people think. It does not matter. It does not. It just does not. Because you're never gonna make anybody happy.
Everybody.
Not everybody. That's what I mean. Sorry. You're never gonna make anybody happy. Everybody.
Yeah. So just do it.
You guys should just quit. I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah.
I was going for like the intense one.
Yeah. Say that for another time. We
Yeah.
only got a few minutes left on, on the card here. But why don't you tell people about like the different groups and stuff that you're involved in?
Yeah, so my group right now, I play with my own group, which is I'm playing as a solo artist. Is just with the Julio Reyes, and then it's a form of a trio. And then depending on how much we play or where we do it or how big the gig is, then I just add more members to the group, like a horn section or a guitar player. So right now I just have it's a trio. And you can call it the Reyes trio, but yeah, it's me and the bass and drums, and it's usually the members in the group is Greg McMonagle on the bass and vocals, and we have Mike Underwood on the drums.
Nice.
And then once in a while those members change depending on gigs and schedules, but that's kind of like what the core is. And then I play in a salsa group that I also front, and it's called Julito y la Sonora del Valle, which is Julio and the Sound of the Valley. That's what it means in English. And that is made of the same trio, but and then we add one of our good friends, Noah Harmon, which you've had on this podcast, correct? Was that last week?
That was John.
Oh, that was John Harmon.
Yep.
So his son Noah plays piano on it, and we play, and that's a really fun one because we play lots of music from Latin America. We play salsas, we play cumbias, we play bachatas, we play cha-chas, just the montunos and son and a bunch of different stuff. It's really fun, boleros. And those are really fun, especially with people, even around here, people love that because, it's something different.
Yeah.
And, people that are even taking like ballroom classes or even salsa dancing classes, they come up and then they see us play, and then they, it's a different thing,
Yeah.
And those are my two main groups aside from I also play with this cover band called The Presidents, and that's more of like, we do a lot of private parties and we do a lot of like the hits, but we keep it to party music. We do a lot of pop music. We do a lot of sometimes we do some classic rock, but I'm not the best rock singer in the world. I'm all R&B and I also play with the Jazz Orgy here in town. I'm the guest once in a while, and we go on a tour every year to the Keys.
Nice.
And then we play down there all the time, and so yeah, that's kind of like the four main groups that I'm kind of playing with around the area. I'm trying to finish I'm working on 3 albums right now, which one's a Latin album, which is like all bossa novas and sambas, some boleros, and then I'm working on my R&B neo soul album, which is more of like, just like I like to say that it's like a mixture between like Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake, and D'Angelo. Mm-hmm. And then I'm working on my jazz album, just like straight ahead, just jazz, which is just me and the saxophone, and
nice.
And we're doing some stuff here with Tom Washatka here in town. He's got a wonderful, shout out to Tom. He's got this awesome studio that, it's amazing because he's also an amazing musician himself. And he, the way that he approaches recording is through a true musician ear. He's not always just technical. He's very like into it. And he's very open to like working with you and being like, all right, what do you think? And then he like says what he thinks too. And it's a very cool partnership. I just started working with him this year, and nice. So far I've been having a great time with him.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to do another podcast once you get one of those projects done, at least.
Yes. Yes. No, and that's my goal this year. That's kind of like my main thing this year, to finish one of those. I mean, I'm working with all of them at the same time, so I'm kind of like doing one here. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I'm going to do like a full album. I think I'm just going to do like EPs.
Sure.
And then I'm going to release, I just got done doing one recording that it's done. So I'm going to release that very soon here. I just have to finish some of like the art and yeah. And then I'll just start releasing some singles here and there, and then make it into an album. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to.
Nice. So
yeah.
How do people keep track of you? Like find you?
Well, you can always find me on Instagram, Julio Reyes, and it's Julio.Sergio.Reyes. And then you can always find me on Facebook on Julio Reyes Music, and I'm also on YouTube. I'm trying to get better at posting. But it's also Julio Reyes Music on YouTube, and then Facebook Julio Reyes. You can always add me and know where I'm playing. Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been kind of working on. My whole life I've always worked on the craft, but now I'm kind of learning how to like do the other stuff like advertising.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's
all the other stuff that comes with it.
That's the hard part, man, for me, because I've always worked on like the art, not just like the logistical side of things. But it's fun. I'm learning, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be sure to share all those links and stuff on the website and everything, so people can find you if they want to. So
that would be awesome. And thank you so much for having me too, man. This is great. This is awesome. There's so much fun here. I love these.
Julio Reyes.
Find us next week. What happened?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, there's tons of things that we could talk to, and it's really interesting also to kind of find like the similarities that we talked about between the Philippines, El Salvador, and like the Spanish ties and stuff that it has. We can even just talk about that topic.
Yeah, I mean,
just that.
Just in those topics alone, we can go for hours. I mean,
we go find some different kinds of food. And
you know what? We should do a mukbang one of these days.
Oh, what? Oh,
like, we'll do a video, and then we'll try different foods, and it's cool to try those different foods too, because sometimes people like. When they see something new, sometimes they don't always want to go ahead and try it right away.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we even tried them, like, and just talked about them a little bit more, people would be more into it, and to try it right away, or then just kind of like, oh, we'll see,
Yeah, for sure. Okay, quickly, what's your go-to here at Manila?
Okay, so a couple things. My go-to at Manila right now, for one, is the pack roll. I love the pack roll here.
Go Pack Go.
Yes, Go Pack Go. That's one of my favorite ones. And then I also love the Ninoy roll. That's probably like my favorite one here as far as sushi goes.
That's everyone's favorite.
But to be honest, that curry.
That curry.
That curry.
That curry, though.
That curry is like nothing else in this town. Let me tell you.
Which one do you get? Do you get the chicken?
Sometimes I get the vegetable one.
Oh, okay.
But the chicken is great too. I love the chicken one. I just love the taste of that curry with that coconut milk.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Always get it with the Java too. Always get it with the Java rice.
There it is.
That's how you do it around at Manila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, man. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out.
And thanks, guys, for watching.
You got to get me on the podcast, so.
Yes.
It's always nice to get people reaching out and wanting to be on it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send you a bill, too, and, my agent will talk to you about it.
Right on. Well, thanks for joining us on the Barkada Podcast, and we'll see you at the next episode.
See you guys.
Peace.
Bye.